Alright, so I disassembled everything, reversed bolted this in just to hold it up in the problem position, took an ohm meter and was checking every one of those possible wires, which in this case it would be the look in there, the input jack would be suspect, and the WF, the woofer positive jack, not the tweeter, because the tweeter is working fine. Checked every one of those cables from both ends. They're all working as they are supposed to. So then I started poking around with an insulation, or with an insulated handle, and guess what I found? That's it. So that capacitor came loose somewhere. So we're going to shut this down, disconnect, and take a look to see what is going on there. Alright, so I cleaned up some of the corrosion on the back end of the board. Didn't think that was going to be the issue, and that is correct. It's the capacitor linking up to the board on this end. Connections coming loose. Just a little bit. Oh, while I'm here, don't touch that. That's a halogen bulb. It's used as a fuse, and if your oils get on there, if that fuse ever has to activate, you're going to blow it real quick. So be very careful when you're navigating through here. But yeah, in this case, we're going to have to pop that off, resolder it, get all the connections, because the issue, the break is in here. The reason why it's cutting out is when gravity's taking over and pulling it away, cutting it out. Now I suppose if I wanted to do a quick fix on this, I'd just hang that crossover upside down, extend the wiring on there, but now we're going to fix this properly. So I'm assuming we could just refloat, basically melt down that solder, refloat the little prong in there, and it should solve the problem, hopefully. Otherwise it's going to get a lot trickier, but we're going to do that. Have the switch off. I think it heats up pretty fast.
It does. All right, let me see. There is a, yeah, if you could please, and thank you. All right, so I need this, and what this is called is a solder bulb. And so a solder bulb will suck up solder by doing this.
Sucks up too much.
I'm just gonna take that, clean it all up.
Okay.
And then we'll reapply solder.
Okay.
Hopefully that'll work. I need to see what's underneath there to see if that little pin over there was actually supposed to be shorted to all this.
You're saying it could be off center?
Yeah, because we globbed it all together. There was a little pin in there.
Yes.
And I'm not sure that that pin was supposed to be. Okay, so then I'm going to hit the resin a little bit. I'm going to flow some solder onto my iron. Now I got a nice little tip there.
Mm-hmm.
So this tip has to have some good solder on it so that it flows with it too. All good techs have burn marks on their jeans. I need a little like piece of cloth or something.
Got the
Shop
paper towel.
There we go. trying to get underneath there and see what's happening. I don't have enough solder to really use the solder sucker too much anymore. Oh, that was pretty cool, that little thing of shit out there.
You see the pin at all?
Hmm?
You see the pin?
Yeah, I can feel it. I just can't see it at this point.
It's possible that the pin's broken off from the transformer completely.
Yeah, that's kind of possible. So you need that ionic bonding to go on between this solder and that solder.
Okay.
I'm using 300 instead of 400 to try and get a little softer. I don't want to apply too much heat to this PCB. I just want to get this whole thing kind of cleaned up.
Watch yourself on that speaker end. It's being held by the shell.
Yeah, I'm
Connected
pushing
to it.
on it. Good point, but yeah.
It's pretty sturdy. So if the pin is broken, well, we'll have to remove both solder joints, pop that thing out, reconnect it, which I guess will be confirmed once we plug this in, and if it's not working.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see the one pin now. The one pin's right here. Okay, so as long as this is supposed to be bridged, I'm going to reflow some new solder onto it. Crank this bad boy up. Okay, that's going to be a nice place for us to land all this solder onto. Here you go. So now I got that hole closed and that pin is in now. So then the next step would be to take that glue off.
So you're thinking this was already a
There you go.
post-factory solder job gone awry?
See how that now looks like that?
Yeah.
Okay? And there's the second pin right there.
Okay.
As long as this is supposed to be bridged. See how this is messy in the middle?
Yes.
That's because we're trying to glue to this.
Okay.
This is where the pin actually is.
So each side has two pins, one on each side?
One for the primary, one for the secondary.
Gotcha.
Okay, see how they, like, I don't care about the middle. I mean, I could clean up the middle. This middle doesn't matter. Hopefully, this is not supposed to be bridged, or it's supposed to be bridged, because if it's not, then what we can do is run our arm through here, but there isn't anything in here in the middle.
Okay.
Kind of fucking it up a little bit by trying to clean it up. Okay, so we got a dull dot and a dull dot, just like all the other dull dots, okay? It's messy because we've been hitting in between here. If it turns out that we turn this on, there's no audio into it, we will separate this here, this bridge, okay? We'll separate that bridge, and then if that doesn't work, then you have to remove the rubber from underneath and see, or the hot glue, and see if... I find it a little odd that this would need bridged. Okay, well, either way, you got a dull dot, just like these. So let it cool down for a minute, and then I'll throw some audio through it.
Wiggle stress and
Either way, nice job.
all right, so Mike got this all soldered back together. We figured out where the issue is. I stress tested, wiggled it, made sure it wasn't going to do anything. So the issue was just a bad solder joint. So with that said, we need to get this bad boy back together. So when I got down to the fourth screw, I realized I still had all these little washers on my table right here. The washers are important. It's always the last one where you realize that you screwed up. So if you really pay attention to that hyperlapse, you'll see that I had to go back through the other three and get those on. So those are all on. I have a paint marker that I used as thread lock just to make sure everything stays in there. Insulation's back, so now we're going to get the shell back on. Like I said before, because we lost a little bit of resin in those screws, we're going to have to use a form of thread lock. In this case, we're just going to use a little bit of little drop of hot glue, silicone based, to hold everything in, prevent the screws from rattling in the case, and it'll break easily if we ever need to get back in here again. While I'm here, it's worth noting that this whole plate can come off by itself. You don't have to tear apart the entire shell to get into it. Reason why we went with the shell instead of this plate, I removed all the screws, and basically the one holding in the crossover board are these four inner ones. I removed all of these first, and this thing was so, basically the metal molded with the plastic after all these years, I couldn't remove it. So after tearing it apart from the front, taking a look at how this whole system sets up, there's basically like a little cat shelf in there to hold everything in. I had to separate it, basically pull the shell apart real hard, which helped. And then I had some little extra leverage with the speak-on cable, just pulling enough pressure just to pull everything out. So if you need easy access to the crossover, that's how you do it. With the age of these, it's probably going to be pretty difficult. Don't put too much pressure on the speak-on because you're going to lose it, possibly damage the jacks themselves. So something to keep in mind. Oh yeah, cool. All right, that'll do it for me today. Mike's back there. He's going to be soldering some more stuff. But once again, if you like and see what you hear, our website is right here. We'll have it in the description below. Hit us up if you got questions. If you own these speakers, They're awesome. We've been running this one for a few hours just to make sure nothing is wrong with it. It's working great. These things are powerhouses. So you have the original 300As. I'm sorry, Part 300. Oh, I have to edit that out. So you have the original Part 300. Okay, fixed. But yeah, if you like and hear everything, we'll see you on the next one, and we're going to keep tearing apart some equipment and showing you what we do.